everyone. Welcome to my random TV recommendation review rants. Freehand camera. This is literally the position. TV. Normally it's in bed though. It's not uncommon for me to talk about TV shows on the channel. Town Called Eureka, which I loved. Lost. Still gives me brain trauma. But no, TV shows like Justified and that, just class. But I'm not the world's biggest TV show watcher. Never seen Breaking Bad, I've never seen Game of Thrones. It's, what's trending I don't normally watch because it's hard to work in retail, because someone will be like, oh, did you see that episode? I watched all 8, came out last night, spoilt. Have you seen the new James Bond? No mate, just come out at 12 o'clock. Oh yeah, he dies. Brilliant. So it is hard to avoid spoilers. And I hate TV shows where they get cancelled. It's like My Name is Earl. It gets left on a cliffhanger. Dark Angel, left on a cliffhanger. And TV shows, I try to watch them in bed. Now, I've recently been watching Buffy. And I was going to have a waffle about Buffy once I finished Angel. Because I'd never seen Angel. I enjoyed Buffy the first time around, and it's a good TV show for when it was made, and all the hype for the new one happening now, which is just ironic that it would happen as when I watched it. But, talking about Angel, why have I watched now 5.5 seasons of it open out when there's a guy just randomly crying who I have no idea who it is? It's really bad, Angel. Even though Spike's just returned, I'm really struggling to get through it. I've actually resorted to actually just watching it in my editing room after I've watched a whole movie editing, and I've got about an hour left. I'll just put an Angel on and don't even pay a fucking attention. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, off that rant. I've recently been watching stuff on Netflix, okay? And I've been watching the most random stuff. Now, I rewatched Whitechapel, which I highly recommend. I started watching it years ago when I first got Now TV in my old house. At that point, it'd just come on television. So I'd watched 2 series. There was finally 4. And you can see why it finished, but it's now on Netflix. It's a British drama. I've actually, when I rewatched it, actually worked and had been drinking with one of the actors in it from years ago. She was in the tournament as one of the assistants. I was like, oh fucking hell, I know her. But I really enjoyed the show. Gritty, grounded British, twists on Jack the Ripper, twist on the craze, and it goes in its own direction. There's like one guy who you'll recognise from one film, and he's in there and he sort of like gets demoted, then he comes back in the second season, then he's think he's going to go somewhere, and then he's never seen again. Now, if you know the film I'm on about, if you ever seen Detox, or as it's called on Netflix now I See You with Sylvester Stallone, it's him. It's the bad guy. The random British guy who's, ooh, I'm the killer, Oh, I didn't see that coming, because it's not like Robert Patrick hiding in plain sight. Hang on, the arm's getting tired. But yeah, it's him. But no, so that's how this kind of started, with watching stuff on Netflix. I watched Whitechapel. So after that, I was like, right, okay, what do you want to watch? Now, I've been watching like the WWE Unreals. I've watched a few of the train wrecks. I started watching a few documentaries. But the problem is with Netflix, you put something on, you fall asleep, and someone else is on, you're like, what the fuck? Wow. And, it does, after about 4 episodes, ask you, are you still here? Anyway, 3 shows I've watched recently, literally the last 2 weeks, because I haven't been sleeping right. Hence why this video is a bit random and different. First up, Loch Ness. Originally called the Loch Ness. I remember looking at this when it first ever came out and thought, I'll get round to it. But I've never been a fan from British stuff, but for some reason I put this on, Loch Ness, and I really enjoyed it. It looked lovely. I almost drove to the Loch Ness. It's 6 hours away from here, which is insane because it's closer than London, but it's just hillbilly sticks and all kinds of shit. Once you get past my house and head up north, there's not much thing. It's a motorway anyway. I really enjoyed it. And just before I watched the Loch Ness, I actually watched 1 episode of The Stranger, and was kind of like, oh, I wasn't really feeling it. And tried the second episode, and I was like, this is shit. I fell asleep. I just didn't enjoy The Stranger. So I was watching the Loch Ness, and I watched 2 episodes and then fell asleep. then watched the rest over the next couple of nights, and then I got proper bamboozled because, strangely enough, since there's 8 years between these two shows, the same actress was in both of them. I went, how can that fucking happen? And she's playing a quite similar character. But the Loch Ness is a murder mystery set around Scotland. There's a brilliant visual of a guy at the bottom of the Loch Ness, and there is a few references to Loch Ness Monster and the Nessie Hunters and stuff like that. But it's a great twisty turn, done and dusted, no second season, worth watch, you know, without spoiling about how it's happened and why there's a murder. I really, really enjoyed that. So it is really worth watching the Loch Ness. So that week as well, brand new, was Untamed. Now, in between watching Loch Ness and Untamed, I'd watched Deliverance from Evil with Eric Bana, which I've got on Blu-ray. It was on Netflix. I popped it on. It is gritty 7 kind of grounded, spiritual, army-based New York cops, murders, mysteries. It's creepy as fuck. There's some creepy fucking visuals in it. And it's got a really good commentary by the director. Hence why having physical media. Click the commentary. It's good watch. Anyway, next, rolling into it, Eric Bana is on Thames. So I put it on, so is Sam Neill. Might be a few other faces you recognise, but within the first couple of minutes. Borrows from like The Fall and stuff like that, but someone goes flying off a cliff edge as they're trying to climb the national park, which I believe is the same national park as El Capitan, where Free Solo was filmed. And you're like, oh, who's she at the bottom of the cliff, and how she get there, and why is she there, and there's free spirits there. Then Eric Bana's just like the guy on the horse, knows the area, and then there's a new recruit. She's moved up to the place with her son. She's getting used to the lay of the land. There's a bit where she gets trapped in a mind, where she doesn't know what's going on. It is done so, you think she's gone. You think she's done and dusted. So yeah, Eric Bana was really good there, and it comes full circle, but it ended with season 2's coming, when it was perfectly ended, but there's some good twists and turns on it. And a lot of these are 6 to 7 episodes each between the two shows. And the next night, I sat there and right, what am I going to try and watch? And it was a hard decision. I only wanted to watch something at one, and I was flicking. And you know what? You flick, and if you do this quite often, you'll realise you might go blind. No, but what I'm talking about is like Netflix changes the covers quite often. And I was just like, right. And then the trailer starts straight away. And it's like with Collateral with Tom Cruise. It's like shows you the advert, but bit where Jason Statham makes his cameo. You know, what are you doing that for? Anyway, I picked up and finally chose something. Called Paranoid. Again, British-based, this one, and Tim was American, but the two main stars, one was an Aussie and one was a Kiwi. Anyway, Paranoid was a weird one because it's like, again, with the first 5 minutes, a guy's walked up and stabbed a woman to death while she was pushing a kid on the swing. So it's pretty grim, graphic, and like, it's like, who did it? And there's 3 lead detectives. One of them's older and wiser, who needs medication. The lead actress, she's like, fell out with her boyfriend, she's got a crush on that. And then it jumps to like Deutschland. I think it's Deutschland. It might be Holland, somewhere like that, yeah. And then it jumps, and it has that kind of international flavour that The Bridge and that were doing years ago. And again, it's why she was stabbed and who's this and why that. And again, addictive watching. Like, they're all twisty turnies and trying to outdo each other. And I think sometimes that's good. You know, I think when a TV show like Lost should just really be 1 or 2 series planned out like Twin Peaks was meant to be. But I think like Lost is a good example where you just keep on going because it's popular, but you have no direction. The British shows and these little shows where they are, you know, finished in one, or they get the opportunity to wrap it up. I say this right now in the outtakes. And the outtake at the very end is the simple fact is, right, TV shows, if they ever get cancelled, should be given a final episode to wrap everything up just for the fans. Don't just cut to black. See, cut to black, yeah. Don't just cut black and then leave everyone going, well, you know, that might have happened. Well, you know. Because we're not going to get many opportunities like Twin Peaks where it comes back years later. Justified's back though. Anyway, if it ever gets physically released on that, it should be completed. There should be a conclusion. I don't believe in stuff that gets released as a complete collection and it just gets canned. Do you know what I mean? That's the worst about it. Like, so anyway, a random freehand waffle. Bit of a lazy content. Not my normal cup of tea, is it? Lying on me Elmo t-shirt. It's blistering hot. Well, no, they call them Boredom Busters on Netflix, and they are free shows. Well, for Whitechapel there. We recommendations worth watching. But that guy crying at the start of Angel, if that's all the way through the series, like, what the fuck? Change the fucking intro. I need to get up. Goodbye for now.